Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to another sacred episode of the Light and Shadow podcast. I'm deeply honored that you've chosen to be here, in this space, in this moment, in your own becoming. Whether you've journeyed with me before, or this is your very first time entering this sacred container, thank you. Truly, thank you for showing up for your healing, for your remembering, for your reclamation. Because to choose healing in a world that profits from our disconnection is nothing short of revolutionary. I'm your host, Grey Ethereus, Reiki Master, Intuitive Life Coach, a seer, soul guide, and in this space, we don't skim the surface. We dive deep. We touch the roots. We speak to the places inside of you that have longed to be seen, not fixed, not judged, but witnessed and gently welcomed home. Here, we don't chase perfection, we invite wholeness. We explore the truths that most people tuck away. The parts that make us a human, messy, radiant, and real. The shadows that call us inward. The light that remind us who we've always been. This is not a space for spiritual bypassing or sugar-coated affirmations. It's a space for honesty, for depth, for sacred unraveling and sacred rebuilding together. And before we begin, a gentle but important reminder. While I hold this space with reverence and love, this podcast is not a substitute for therapy, clinical support, or mental health care. It is a spiritual and energetic space meant to support your inner journey. But if you're navigating trauma or deeper mental health concerns, please honor yourself by reaching out to a licensed professional. You deserve full spectrum healing, every layer, every level. As always, you can find all my offerings in the description box below, from private Reiki and intuitive healing sessions to custom ritual candle work, soul mentorship, and much more. And for daily rituals, intuitive guidance, and sacred musings, come find me on TikTok at Grey Ethereus. I would love to connect with you there. Now, if your heart is ready, if your spirit is stirring, if your body is exhaling, let's drop in. Let's talk about something sacred and often uncomfortable. The habit of overgiving and the art of finally receiving. Because this is a pattern I see so often in healers, empaths, creatives, and anyone who grew up feeling like their worth was tied to what they could do for others. You become the fixer, the listener, the emotional container, the strong one, the one who shows up even when you are crumbling inside. And maybe a part of you equates love with labor, worth with usefulness, safety with being needed. But here's the truth. Overgiving is not generosity, it's self-abandonment dressed in virtue. It's not that you are too loving, it's that somewhere along the way you learned it was safer to give than to receive. So today, we're going to name this pattern, we're going to unravel it, and we're going to begin the sacred return to balance. Overgiving doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it's quiet, woven into your routines, your relationships, your breath. It becomes so habitual, so normalized, you don't even realize how much you're leaking life force until you're running on empty. So how do you know you're overgiving? Here are some soul honest signs. You feel guilty when you rest. Even if you're exhausted, even if you've done everything for everyone, there's a whisper inside that says you don't get to rest until everyone else is okay. You say yes when your body says no. You override your intuition. You ignore the tightness in your chest. You feel the boundary rising in your gut and say yes anyway, because it feels easier than disappointing someone. You feel resentment building, but you keep showing up. You keep helping, keep supporting, keep giving, even when no one asks how you are doing. And the resentment doesn't make you cruel, it makes you human. It means your soul is signaling imbalance. You struggle to receive without guilt. Compliments, help, support, love, you deflect them, downplay them. You give so much, but when someone offers something back, your instinct is to say, I'm fine, I've got it. You base your worth on how needed you are. You feel anxious when you're not useful. You equate love with being indispensable. You feel that if you're not giving, you'll be forgotten or replaced. Your needs always come last. You put everyone else ahead of yourself, partners, family, clients, friends. You tell yourself you'll get to your needs later, but later never comes. You feel burnt out, invisible, or taken for granted. You give from your soul and wonder why no one pours back into you. You quietly hope someone will notice, but often people assume you're okay because you have made it look easy to carry everything. You confuse love with sacrifice. You believe being loving means being endlessly available. You've made self-erasure an act of devotion. And even if you're tired, you still feel like saying no means you're failing at love. Beautiful soul, if any of these feel true, let me offer this. You are not failing, you are awakening. Your exhaustion is not a weakness, it's a signal. A sacred tap on the shoulder from your soul whispering, there's another way to love. One that includes you too. Because love is not meant to drain you. Service is not meant to silence you. Kindness is not meant to cost you your peace. You don't need to earn rest. You don't need to apologize for your needs. You don't need to give until you disappear. Let this be the beginning of your return. Overgiving doesn't begin in adulthood. It begins in the quiet spaces of your earliest experiences, in the small, subtle moments that taught us who we had to become in order to feel safe, accepted, and loved. You may have learned that being easy to love meant being easy to manage. Maybe you were the peacekeeper in a home full of conflict. Or you were the emotional anchor for parents who were lost in their own pain. Or you were the mature one, praised for not needing too much. You learned to smile through sadness so no one would worry. You offered love to others in hopes they'd offer it back to you. And somewhere along the way, a belief was born. I must give in order to be loved. So now, as an adult, you give without being asked. You give when your tank is empty. You give love, attention, care, labor, time, energy, hoping quietly that someone will see you, choose you, fill you back up. But what you're really longing for isn't reciprocity, it's restoration. It's the healing of a wound that says, my worth is only as good as what I do for others. Overgiving is often the soul's attempt to rewrite an old story. The story that said love was conditional, that safety had to be earned, that your value depended on how well you met everyone else's needs while yours were quietly buried. But beautiful soul, you are allowed to be loved just for existing, not for being useful, not for being agreeable, just for being you. The healing begins when you stop asking, what more can I give? And start asking, what part of me still believes I have to? Because when you heal the root, you stop pouring from depletion. You stop chasing love disguised as duty. You stop abandoning yourself just to be chosen. And instead, you come home to a deeper truth. You were always worthy of receiving. Let me tell you about a client. We'll call her Sam. Sam was a gifted spiritual practitioner. Her presence was medicine. Her words affirming. She held space for others with such grace, such depth, that it seemed effortless. But when she came to me, she was unraveling quietly beneath it all. She said, I feel like everyone is plugged into me and I'm slowly disappearing. She was exhausted, spiritually and energetically bankrupt. But the world only saw her light, never the cost she paid to keep it shining. In our first session, I could feel the imbalance in her field immediately. Her solar plexus dimmed from years of self-sacrifice. Her heart guarded behind layers of unprocessed grief and ancestral guilt. There was love in her life, yes, but no true reception of it. Compliments deflected, help refused, love offered, but rarely let in. She had mastered the art of giving, but receiving? That felt unsafe, foreign, almost shameful. I don't want to be a burden, she whispered. So we worked gently. We did Reiki to begin restoring flow to her energy centers. We focused on clearing the residue of martyrdom from her heart space. We created a daily ritual, simple, sacred, hers alone, and I gave her a candle. Not for calling in love or money, but a candle for receiving. Not receiving from others first, but from spirit, from source, from the part of herself that had been exiled. She cried the first time we lit it, not from sadness, but from remembering. As the flame flickered, she placed her hand on her chest and whispered, I allow myself to be held. Not as a practitioner, not as a healer, just as Sam. That moment changed everything. She began asking for help without guilt. She learned to rest without needing to earn it. She stopped treating her worth like it had to be justified. And her light? It didn't dim. It expanded. Because it was finally being fueled from within, not just given away. That's what healing looks like sometimes. Not doing more, but softening into being. Because your worth is not in your output. Your magic is not in your productivity. You deserve to receive, not because you have given enough, but because you are always worthy of it. Grab your journal or place a hand on your heart and ask yourself, where in my life do I give more than I receive? What am I afraid will happen if I stop overgiving? What would it feel like to be fully supported? Let's anchor this in with a simple ritual. Place both hands over your heart and whisper, I release the belief that I must earn love. I allow myself to receive with ease, with grace, with joy. I am open. I am worthy. I am safe to be held. Breathe in and breathe out. Let the words melt into your body. You can repeat this every day. Receiving is not a one-time act. It's a practice. In my practice, I often create custom ritual candles for clients ready to shift this pattern. A receiving candle, a return to self candle. These rituals aren't just symbolic, they're energetic portals for remembrance. When paired with Reiki, especially around the heart and solar plexus, we begin to clear the guilt, grief, and depletion stored in the body. Because healing, overgiving, isn't just a mindset shift, it's a nervous system recalibration. Beautiful soul. You were not born to pour until you're empty. You were born to overflow. You were born to be nourished, cherished, held, not just needed. And when you begin receiving, not just from others, but from yourself, you will notice your nervous system settles, your relationships deepen, your energy replenishes, and your life expands. This is your permission slip to give with heart, but to receive with open arms. You are not too much. You are not a burden. You are worthy of all that you so freely give. If this episode resonated with you, I'd be honored if you liked, subscribed, and shared it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to go deeper, book a Reiki session, a candle ritual, or private coaching with me. All my offerings are in the description below. And don't forget to follow me on TikTok at Grey Ethereus for daily reminders of your sacred worth. And next time, on the Light and Shadow podcast, we'll explore a soul deep question. Why we feel afraid of our own power? Because many of us don't fear failure. We fear what might happen if we actually rise, if we stop shrinking, if we claim our voice, if we walk into a room and don't apologize for the fire we carry. We say we want freedom, success, love, impact. But are we truly ready to hold what we say we desire? Or has the world conditioned us to believe that power must be earned rather than remembered? This next episode will dive into how we self-sabotage, how trauma makes us fear our bigness, and how to finally step into our power without guilt, shame, or apology. Because your light was never too much. It was just waiting for permission from you. So be sure to subscribe and meet me there. You won't want to miss it. Until then, the magic is already within you. You are more powerful than you know. Until next time.